Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantele and Francis, here with a special episode of MTV's The Challenge Home Turf with CT. And to do it, to talk about this little mini episode, is Matthew. How are you doing today, Matthew?
I'm great. I think that was like a nice little treat here. I mean, if we're gonna get like 30 minutes of a bunch of challenge legends, I'm here for it. It's like a nice break between the episodes, and I'm a big CT guy. So anytime we can get 30 to 45 minutes of CT, I mean, sign me up. It's a nice treat.
Absolutely. It's like I already love you, CT. Like I'm like, am I falling in love with you even more? I'm like, oh, how can I meet CT now and see if he's gonna fall in love with me?
Yeah, it's funny. Like an hour before the episode aired or the episode dropped on YouTube, I saw in my feed that Bananas dropped his 100th episode of his podcast, and CT was the guest. So it was CT's first time on the podcast. I started listening, so I'm like, it was over 2 hours.
Oh.
So it's like a nice like deep dive with CT, and I've listened to about half of it. It's pretty interesting. It's just like we're getting a lot of CT right now over the last few weeks.
Well, because I feel like what happened at the end of this episode, he says, he kind of bigs up the new crop of people because he's considering himself to be old, and all the people that he's played with are kind of over the hill, and he's kind of passing the torch. But he does say that he still has one more in him. So I feel like this season 40 is going to be like last of the old era kind of thing. And maybe they'll bring them back in. Who knows? But I think that it might be retirement for some of like the names that we're familiar with.
Yeah, I don't know if necessarily it's going to be like a retirement for most of them, but I could definitely see like someone like CT stepping away. I mean, I don't see like Bananas leaving. I don't see like people like Tori and even like Kara leaving, at least not by choice. And I don't think they're gonna like cut them.
Right. They're still a lot younger though. They're like a decade younger than CT, right?
Yeah. I think Kara is probably like mid 30s, but
yeah, 35, I think. So
I could definitely see CT and like people like Darrell, Brad, like maybe like coming for one last hurrah, and then it's like, all right, you know what? Like if they do more All Stars, maybe we'll be there. But I could see that.
The main show, this might be their last hurrah.
I also don't know, like, will the main show even be on MTV 2 years from now?
Maybe that's the thing too. Maybe season 40 is going to be the last of the MTV iterations. And maybe then it's going to move on to CBS, and it's going to be heavily centered around Michelle and Jay and, some of the other people that are more featured, we'll say, in this latest season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. I'm really curious. I mean, like season 40, like seems like they're going all out, like trying to get a few of the big names back. But
and they saved a lot of money on 39, so they could probably get some big names.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't know. I'm curious because like some of the casting news has been a little like hot and cold. Like it seems like there's a lot of people from like the recent All-Star seasons, which is good, but it's like not really like the all-stars that I would like to see personally. Like it's a lot of very random names. But I'm curious to see how it actually unfolds. I'm sure there'll be a few like nice surprises, and then like a few of the big names like CT, Kara will be back as well.
I just hope they do a good job. I really do.
Yeah.
So Jorge here is saying, this was better than he expected it to be. I wish it would have been longer though. There were so many things that they could have shown. Absolutely. For the most part, like I took some notes, but it wasn't really any notes of anything that we didn't already know about CT. Like I didn't necessarily know that he grew up in Charleston or Charlestown, I knew he grew up in a rough area somewhere in Massachusetts. I learned a little bit about his mom being a worry bug, but I didn't really learn that much new about CT. Did you learn anything?
No, not much new. I mean, I'd say it was like 80% just like him reminiscing, which I thought was like nice to hear. It wasn't like any new.
I was smiling the whole time.
Yeah, so I liked hearing him talk about like his journey, and I liked the structure of it going from like start to finish. From Real World to like his like bad boy days to like the dad bod era and then like current CT. So I thought that was cool to like hear his thoughts on how things went. But yeah, nothing really like groundbreaking new that like if you followed along the last 15 years, like you didn't already know.
Absolutely. I didn't know that. Like, I liked hearing the story about him and his casting for the Real World, and so I'd like to understand that he had the choice of whether he wants to do the Real World or Road Rules, and like I would immediately think that he would have been a more of a Road Rule type person, but it's interesting that he didn't want to be on a Winnebago with these people, so he decided to do the Real World. I think I'd heard already that he had the relationship in Paris that was kind of unknown, unbeknownst to anybody else in the house, but that's all I guess I learned from that era of his life. But I did like hearing about his casting process with like Bunham and Murray. Like they probably went in and being like, I can't believe this is a real person. He's kind of a caricature of like a person, so over the top and so exactly who he is, so authentic that they're probably like, yeah, he's cast for sure.
Yeah, that was interesting. Him saying that he chose Real World over Road Rules because, like, you would think of CT as like someone that would like be there for the action and like the kind of like
adrenaline.
Yeah, the adrenaline of Road Rules, but yeah, he like chose to like be like bunked up in a house for 3 months, and yeah, it doesn't like feel like something CT would want now, but. I mean, obviously, a lot's changed. What was
a lot
that?
of people talk about it, but Parvati was supposed to be on that season of the Real World Paris. Wouldn't that have been something?
Yeah, that would have been awesome. She posted her like her letter like of them like cutting her at the last round. And yeah, it was supposed to be Real World Paris. We could have had her and CT. Like she would have been a mainstay on the challenge. It's like crazy how close we were to that.
Wow. But I mean, it probably is a better path for her to go on, win $1 million, fall in love, have a baby. Like it might have been an easier path, to the $1 million.
Yeah. Quicker for sure. Cause back then on the challenge, like you're going to have to win like every season. Like Darrell won 4 in a row. And I think he's won like 100K. So
yeah, they weren't winning money back then for sure. Like me, Luciana loves whenever CT shows up. Always happy for sure. Sudani loves CT more from watching this, as did I. Hello, Dabu.
I'm just curious, like when they get to like the like Big T episode, like how are they making 45 minutes? And like I love Big T, but like she's been on 3 seasons or 4 seasons, so.
Wait, she has a whole. Do you have a list of who's going to be doing these home turfs?
I don't have a list exactly, but based on the preview, it looked like it was CT, Bananas, Darrell, Devin, and then Tori, Cara, Big T, and Laurel, and Amanda. I forget who the 5th guy. What was Jordan? I don't remember if Jordan was one of them, but
Wes?
I didn't see Wes in the preview, which is a little strange.
Brad? I'm just trying to think of who's.
I think I saw Jordan, but it might have been Jordan with Tori. But I do recall seeing Jordan in the preview. It's probably Jordan because I don't think we saw Wes at all.
It's interesting who they chose. Yeah, like maybe there's a lot of story with CT or Big T that we don't know about. So, I mean, I'm happy to see it.
Yeah, it could be more of her like backstory, less about the challenge itself.
Hi, Mary. So Mary says Survivor 40 felt like a closure from the original show. So I hope they honor the challenge well in season 40. So yeah, like season 40 of Survivor was definitely the end of an old era. In my opinion, it was a better era because I'm not a new era fan as so much. I mean, I watch it. I love Survivor. I'll always watch Survivor, but I definitely enjoy pre 40 more than post 40. And I feel like that will be the same with the challenge if like they decide to move over to CBS, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I think that's a good comparison. Like Survivor does feel very different, but yeah, I'm a little worried. Like the challenge goes a similar path, but like as long as like season 40 itself is just like a nice spectacle, I think it could be worth it. And also like the challenge is a different game, so you can't just completely cut everyone off. But some of these older people, like I feel like, are going to be kind of stepping away a little bit.
AR here is saying, wow, would never have thought of a world with MTV and no challenge. Well, I feel like if the challenge is gone, like is what the only thing that's on that network is what Siesta Key and Ridiculousness? Like what else is playing on there?
Yeah.
Is MTV done?
Well, I don't know. I mean,
this is not even on MTV, it's on YouTube.
Because even things like Are You the One are now on like Paramount Plus, right?
So maybe they're just like taking it off the MTV and they're going heavily on streaming and YouTube.
Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if in the next couple of years that's the case. I don't know if it'll be immediate, but like within a few years, I don't think anyone will be shocked to see the challenge off MTV and on CBS or Paramount.
So Rachel here is saying, hello, I really liked the story about the casting process. Yes, me too. Especially I've done thousands of castings. And so like, I always love hearing people's casting experiences when they get the part, because you know, you usually don't hear anything but a no. And so it's nice seeing people that when they get these big yeses, like the yeses that change their life, seeing how that happened. He probably didn't think that he was getting the part. You know, he said that he's running after them, saying that he'll take off his shirt. And like he was already cast from that point. But it's nice as a person that does a million of these auditions just to see his process. So I'm glad you guys liked it too. Jorge says, I couldn't stop giggling, or he couldn't stop giggling about DM. True love right there. I honestly, I'd stop myself from crying a lot with this footage with DM. It really was a true love story. And, you know, it obviously with how it's ended, it's like ultimate tragedy. But it's such a beautiful story. I wish that they went in a little bit more because like I wanted to be invested in their love story a bit more. But what do you think about the fact that they didn't address Lily or his son that he has now?
I wonder if that is like a legal thing.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Like maybe he's not allowed to appear on television or be like to speak about him as part of their divorce agreement. But
yeah,
he's like a part of his life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I was a little surprised to not hear anything about like him returning and like being a dad. I was like expecting a part on that, but yeah, I was thinking like, you know what, maybe he isn't allowed to say anything like on screen about it, about like his family. So, but I will say like the DM thing for me as well, like that's basically why I was so excited for this series. Cause I mean, CT like notably has not talked about DM. I know like recently on like Instagram and Twitter, he's been posting things over the last little bit, but I mean, since she passed, really, after he returned with DM's sister, which we saw here again, he never spoke about DM on the show. And it's been now, I think, 8 years. So this was really the first time that he's spoken about her. Like when they did the Untold Challenge history, I mean, they asked him about her and he didn't really say anything. So even to get like 5 minutes of him talking about DM was really like special. And to me DM and CT are like what made the challenge so great. And they're like two of the biggest factors. Like obviously there's like all the drama and like the fun stuff from even the earlier days, but
that locked me in. I was in it. Like from that, like I bawled my eyes off when he asked her to take off her wig and he was the one that saw her and then the kiss in the water. Like it was just like, it was the love story that like, and like I'm around the same age as them. And like, I don't know, it was just like, I was so in it. And
yeah,
it definitely was my like foundation of the challenge for me.
For sure. It's like when you look back on the challenge, like the greatest moments, like a lot of them are CT and or DM. And I mean, like CT's character arc on the show is like literally like what Oscar-worthy movies are made of. And like it's
100%.
He's had like one of the best arcs from like start to finish. Like DM obviously was like a consistent, like good, like a consistent angel on the show. Yeah, just like to like go back and see that even in like a 30-minute thing. It makes me want to go back and watch those seasons again. But
I have seen The Duel recently. I did a rewatch with Michelle in like 2020, I think it was.
Yeah. CT and DM, like they'll, no matter what happens with like CT the rest of his career, like he goes down as like one of my top 5 favorite competitors. DM is 100% top 5 for me. And I could never see anyone really like knocking them out of the top 5. Like for me, it's those two, Veronica, and like I love like the chaotic people like Ashley, Amanda, but like they're not going to like pass those like OGs.
Well, I find that the show doesn't allow them to have this kind of growth anymore. Like, or we don't see these storylines anymore. You know what I mean? So like, it just, I don't think it will happen with the way that they're telling their storytelling in this new era. You know, like we saw them on an MTV show, and I think that that's the difference too, is that the people that they're bringing in are not necessarily from an MTV show that we for sure watched or that we heard about, you know what I mean? And so I kind of feel like, because the origin story could be from 12 Presents of Christmas or whatever, or Survivor Bulgaria or what, you know what I mean? Like, it's like we don't necessarily have these connections to these people's origin stories, and so like we kind of get they're thrust into this world of the challenge, and we don't really care that much about them.
Yes,
like, backstory wise.
But the thing is, like, DM was fresh meat. Like DM we didn't know.
But it was from a long time ago.
Yeah, well, what I
and she already had a built-in storyline with the fact that she was going through ovarian cancer.
For sure. But also the show back then was 22 minutes, and they still did a better job then of telling a story in 22 minutes than they do now, when the show is 90 minutes long, or 60 minutes when you account for commercials. It's pretty wild, like, that the show, like, I still love the show, obviously, like I still think it's great, but it's not comparable.
Partner
Derek, because they had a little fling too, remember?
Right. Oh, right. Yeah, got it. I remember.
Yeah.
Now.
So it's just crazy that like in 22-minute episodes, like we were so drawn to DM and CT and others, whereas like now it feels like this season, like this current season, I don't really feel like I'm drawn to anyone, with like the exception of like Nerys, I really like, but like I'm not like drawn to her emotionally the same way I was to so many people back then, even with the show being 3 times the length.
Hold on. So Mary here is saying that I don't remember if Danny Victor was one of the twins from Bad Girls Club. Talk about her relationship with CT. Nothing unforgivable, but yikes! I've never heard about this. Have you heard about this?
I don't even know. I have no idea who that even is.
Me neither. Can we have some links or some more details? Because like I have not heard about this at all. Sudana says, do you think the newer cast members will have joint episode or have their own as well? I don't think so.
Yeah, I just don't know. Like, the thing is, it is just like a YouTube thing. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if like Big T's episode was like 20 minutes instead of 45. Like CT obviously has a lot more to go off of. So I'd say like probably the newer contestants will just have less time. Even like someone like Amanda, like she's done what, like 6 seasons. I don't think she's gonna have. I don't think they're gonna spend like 20 minutes talking about. Are You the One?
Go through Are You the One with her relationship with Mike.
I doubt they'll focus too much on that. I'd be pretty surprised.
But she does have an interesting story with like the fact that she's a nurse, and wasn't her father sick as well, and so she does have a little bit of a backstory that they might focus on.
Yeah,
if they chose her.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just weird because like Amanda like hasn't always like gone far on her seasons too. So like when she talks about like half her seasons, can be like, yeah, I went home like episode 4 or whatever. It's like, okay, well, obviously I want to hear
everybody would have been winners. So Big T kind of stands out as like, like,
you know what? I personally think they're giving us people that are for sure on season 40.
Okay.
So it's just like, all right, let's give you a little more, because like these are the people that are going to be like the stars of season 40.
Do you think we're going to get a Melissa one?
I didn't see Melissa on maybe Melissa will like appear on Big T's, actually. I could see that.
Okay, so how do you feel about Bananas now that we hear that he helped DM when she was sick?
Yeah, that was like something I didn't know. So that was like a bit of a surprise. They were talking about it on the podcast too, where CT like kind of gave him another shout out. and he was saying like, hey, like people don't realize like you are like a good friend. You're like good to your people. And like I've always like appreciated how you treated DM. So like I'll always have respect for you for that. And even when we butt heads in the game, like I still have respect for you as a person. So it was like a nice moment. I was like, I knew that Bananas and DM were friends, obviously. I didn't realize they were that close. So yeah, it's like nice to see another side of Bananas.
Definitely. Mary says like Banana plays a character. Bananas is actually a nice guy in real life.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that. I've heard some questionable nice guy things or like not so nice guy things. But I do agree that he takes care of people that he loves and respects and are his friends, you know. I've heard him be not the best boyfriend or like to women. Yeah, Danny also had a thing with Zach. Who's Danny?
Yeah, who's this Danny?
From Bad Girls Club with CT. Challenge. See if I don't.
It was pretty cool. Like as he's going through this, and I'm just like thinking, like, oh, you know, like what are my like favorite CT memories on the show? Like what like stands out to me about CT? Like obviously there's just like the whole arc in general. But like CT truly does like have so many iconic seasons, so many iconic moments. And like he was like the main, he's always been the main, like me against the house kind of guy. Where like he literally just had like full alliances going after him. So it was cool to like go back and kind of relive that for a little bit.
100%. Okay, so I'm going to show you what she looks like. Apparently she had a thing with Joss Mooney as well. I don't recognize her really. But this is her.
I recognize Angela there.
I recognize Angela too. Angela, did you ever see her on Bad Girls Club?
No, I only saw her on X on the Beach.
So she like looks so different because she fully had a nose job before she went on. And like, it's so weird seeing her on Bad Girls Club because when you're looking at her, you hear her voice and she has the same attitude, but she doesn't look like herself at all. Like she looks very different before nose job. And like she's talked about her nose job on YouTube and stuff like that. So I'm not like outing her like plastic surgery, but it's quite surprising to see how drastic of a difference she looks. Like, so wild. Okay, so let me read this article. While we look at her face. Okay, so Danny Victor breaks her silence on relationship with CT. If you have any familiarity with both Bad Girls Club and The Challenge, you've probably heard a few rumors about a relationship between CT and Danny Victor, star of Bad Girls Club Season 8, and multiple spin-offs. Most notably, she reappeared on Bad Girls Club All-Stars, where she opened up about a pregnancy and a miscarriage. In her video on her YouTube, she discussed her relationship with CT and the circumstances leading to her pregnancy, confirming that CT was the father. Whoa. Do I believe the story? Yes, I do. However, an avid challenge fans will notice the timeline of the story doesn't exactly jive with the mentioned challenges. In all honesty, every time Danny refers to Battle of the Exes, I think she means Rivals 2, as that was the season filmed around the time of Bad Girls Club at All-Stars Battle. But I don't expect Danny to have a perfect memory of these seasons, and I wouldn't let this small detail deter you from the core of the story. While this story doesn't paint CT in the best light, we've all known that he has had his share of struggles. Also, Danny has been involved in other rumors surrounding the challenge cast, but those will be addressed when she wants to talk about them. If you're interested, I'd recommend watching. It's 18 minutes, though. Here's a rundown of what she said. She had a relationship with CT after filming Bad Girls Club All-Star Battle 1, and CT finished filming Battle of the Exes. In reality, it was likely Rivals 2 due to the timeline. They started off as friends with benefits. She fell for him. She knows she fell for him, and it was reciprocated for a while. When the challenge started to air, CT left to do promo and was basically fooling around with multiple girls. She and CT never really got along after this, but they did try to reconcile. CT slept with Danny, she got pregnant, and CT didn't want to be a father. Danny had a miscarriage, and CT was happy and toasted to dodging a bullet. There is a lot more to the story, but I don't want to post anything more compromising than this. I don't know how I feel about that. How do you feel about that?
I mean, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it with a grain of salt. I just don't know enough. So, I mean, I'm not to say like whoever posted that is like completely inaccurate. I don't want to judge too much without knowing like the full story. But I mean, if that's true, I mean, obviously not the greatest look for CT, of course. But yeah, I mean, we all know like CT has in the past had like a lot of problems. I know like specifically seems like maybe the time was like around the same when his like brother had passed away. I know he
Mhm.
was on like a downward spiral for several years, and even like the way he had treated people like Diem on the show after that had
Absolutely.
happened was like not the greatest. So I mean, CT is like no like
Angel.
he's not a saint, but
Mhm.
I think like the CT we know now is much more of like a level-headed, like kind person, and he's like distanced himself from like a lot of his demons. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's probably some, if not a lot of truth to that. But yeah, I'm hoping CT's like learned from the error of his ways.
Absolutely. I mean, like this was definitely going to be 15 or so years ago that this would have happened. At that time, wasn't he like fooling around with Siobhan? Like, he was being a bit of a cat. He wasn't necessarily being super kind to, the women that he was dealing with then. Um, Obviously it doesn't really, if all this is true what she has said, that's really unfortunate, but I do have to give some grace to CT because he has done a lot of things, and I feel as though he's learned from it and overcome and grown. And that's what we were basically discussing, that he's had an arc. He's come from one place, he's acted one way, he's made a lot of wrongs, and it seems like now he's doing a lot more rights with growing up and age.
Yeah,
So it's unfortunate to hear something about that, like that, about anybody's past, but it was in the past, and I would hope that maybe he's said something to her, or they've rectified the situation, or he's apologized for whatever negative feelings she might be harboring for him, and they've both been able to move on amicably.
yeah,
But unfortunately, it sucks to hear, though.
yeah, for sure.
Sorry, what's AK-47 you're saying? So, does anybody else remember what season when Tony Time said, "Do you know who I am? I'm Scottie Pippen. Do you know who's Bananas is? He's Michael. You come for bananas, you come for Tony Time." No, I do not remember
I don't
this.
remember I remember him saying that. I don't remember what season it was. It must have been not the season. What was the season before Tony turned on bananas? It must have been whatever that was. Maybe Dirty 30.
30 was the one he turned on bananas, wasn't it?
No, he turned on bananas in Vendettas, I think, with Devin. Well, because he put Devin in against he put bananas against Devin.
Oh, so Danny's saying it was Final Reckoning.
Final Reckoning. That would make sense because they were partners for Final Reckoning.
Oh, she's saying, "Oh no, Vendettas." Hmm. I don't remember. I'm not great at like remembering which names or which numbers, or it's all in the past. A long time ago. AK is here saying, because I saw that clip on Instagram and nobody posted the season and episode. Got it. Honestly, just type that into Google and I'm sure somebody's written an article about it, or Reddit has a post.
I would guess it's probably Dirty 30 because I don't think he would have said it in Vendettas because that's when Tony was against bananas. But and then on season 30, Tony was kind of like bananas lackey the whole season. So that's what I would guess. But it could very well be earlier in Vendettas, which I believe was season 31.
Got it. We should end up some like high notes here. What else have we not talked about yet?
I fully forgot that on the season CT1 with Amber, that CT had the option to change partners in the final. So like when Amber like screwed up the math puzzle, he was saying like, "Oh yeah, it took her 45 minutes. I decided to stay with her." I fully forgot CT could have like picked Cam as his partner there to end the final. And if he did, I mean, Cam would be a champion now. So, I mean, I'm happy Amber won, but it's pretty crazy that CT basically got to pick like which woman between Cam, Nani, and Amber got to win a final, and he chose Amber.
I think he probably felt like kinship. He probably was feeling a little bit bad about how he treated Big T, and like, you know, that was that same season, right?
Yeah.
And so, and like, he didn't get along that well with Cam, right? They were kind of butting heads when they were partnered up for a little bit. Wasn't that the case?
Yeah, I don't think they performed that well because they were both like alpha.
So he's probably like, like, I know that Amber can run, and he doesn't know how well Cam can run compared to Amber, and they weren't really jiving as partners. So I can understand why he chose to stay with Amber, because like Amber was just going to listen to whatever he said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so Danny's saying like, I don't blame him. Her endurance was the best out of all the finalists he got to choose from. 100%. Yeah, he struggling. W says Dirty 30 Tony was lapdog. Bananas turned on Bananas. Final reckoning, they were partners.
Yeah. I have a feeling like all the people on season 40 will just be like, it'll be like the big names, and then like all their lapdogs will be the people on it. And then there'll be like 5 people that are like against the grain, and they'll just get like targeted right off the bat. It'll be very frustrating. I'm like, I don't want to put that out there, but that's like my fear.
Don't put it out there. Don't do it. Mary wants to know if we're getting a Leroy or Nani episode.
I don't think so, but that would actually make sense. Like, I would love to see Leroy and Cam and their family, or I think they only have one kid now, but Cam's pregnant now. It would be interesting to see something like that. Like, obviously you can see like Nani has like a very good character arc. Like, she's been through it all on this show. So that would be interesting too, but it doesn't seem like we're getting that unless like they didn't show us everything on the,
or maybe this is still a work in progress. Like maybe they're still doing more of these, because, you know, they have to probably be the right timing to go back to people's hometowns. Maybe Nani's not ready yet because her mom has passed, you know, in the last year or so. So maybe it will be something that will happen in the future, but maybe not for this grouping of episodes.
Yeah. These seem like pretty easy to film. Like I wouldn't be shocked if they did more of these down the road. So do I think Nani will return? I don't think
Nani will return. No. Not this next season, no.
Yeah, I think Nani actually said on like Instagram Live the other night that she is not going to do. She declined season 40. Obviously, that can change, but yeah, if I had to guess, I would say no Nani, but probably yes Casey.
Boring. Well, unless you guys have any other questions or there's anything else that we haven't talked about of the CT episode, that's kind of it, right? I mean, I love CT. I'm happy to have received a little bit more about him and his life, and, you know, a little bit more of his growth, and just seeing it all packaged together. Definitely liked it. It could have been longer for me. I would like to hear a little bit more, because there's a lot of little bits that they just touched on, but I would like to see it a little bit longer, because I'm sure he filmed those confessionals for like 12 hours. You know what I mean? So, this is a good question. How do we feel about CT on the Traitors? I want to see more of him.
I think he's playing pretty well, actually. I think he's a good faithful. And like, I think he's like playing like CT. Like, he's like, he's like aggressive, but like not threatening and
measured. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I'm liking him on there. I think Bananas getting out early was like really good for CT, because now CT is not like tied to like the more like boisterous player, and he's not like in the crossfires as much. I know like he's taken some heat, but I feel like he's handled it pretty well. I'm curious, like, how do you think CT comes back for season 40? Do you think he just like instantly is like the last few seasons where he's gonna like pretty much skate to the end? Do you think he'll be under more pressure, or do you think like, how do you see CT's season 40 going?
Well, it seems like he was kind of buttering up the new era. So I think he's gonna go in like, I'm just here for the good times, like, you know, I don't think he's gonna. I think he's gonna just try to fade to the background and not come across as a threat to the new school players, and for them just to think that he's, you know, old and out of shape, and allow him to sneak to the end. I think that he's going to play that game again.
Do you think CT will make the end? Like, do you think he'll make the final on season 40?
Yeah, I feel like that has to be his story, right?
Yeah, I do think like he's got a good shot to make the final. What I don't want to see, like, I know like some people probably want to see like CT, Bananas, Jordan, like all in the final and like may the best man win. I don't want to see that. Like, I want these guys to like have to like go into eliminations. Like, I want to see them like work for it. I do think like I can definitely see CT like having a pretty easy path and being able to hide in the background and let like some of these newer people prove themselves.
That movie you're saying people are always scared to take a shot at CT. Cam is the only person I remember saying get him out. Yeah, I think that people will still be scared to take out CT. Especially, well, I'm wondering if this special is going to hurt him or help him.
I just don't know, like, who is going to be the one, like, which, like, who's going to be the people on the cast that will be willing to take the shot? That's what I'm like struggling to find. It's like, is like Leroy going to be the one to be like, you know what, I'll take the shot at CT. That's not very Leroy like move. I don't think Bananas will do it straight up. Like Jordan, probably not. So who is going to be the one? Devin like didn't do it the last 2 times he played. Is Fessy going to be the guy that like wins?
No, I don't think that anyone's going to take him out.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on the format also, but like I think they're still going to be scared of him in an elimination. But I think that they're not going to be scared of him in a final. If he's in the same shape as he is right now.
Yeah.
Because like I don't know if his stamina is going to be able to compete with like Horacio. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it'll be interesting. Like once like the final cast gets released, like in the next month or whatever, I'm curious to like look into it and like map out how I think it could go.
Yeah.
But I'm really struggling to like find people that would like actively go after CT and Jordan and Bananas.
Maybe
Kyland, maybe, but Kyland isn't really that kind of guy either.
Well, he's also kind of more of a fan, and he probably would want to work with them as opposed to like get them out. I think.
Yeah, like the people that would do it, like, are the people not getting calls, like Danny and Chris Underwood. Like they would do it, but they're not going to be there, unfortunately. I mean, Amanda, Ashley, Veronica, they would do it, but like, are they going to win anything if they're there?
I don't know. And Davu's here saying if it's solo, he's going to the final. Pairs, he has, let's say Michelle as a partner, it might be tough. I think if he has Michelle as a partner, it might be good because he's going to be insulated on both sides.
Yeah, I think him and Michelle would be. He would have to have a partner that is like if his partner was Amanda, he'd be a little bit screwed because people would want Amanda out. Like Tori, Jordan, like all of them, Devin, like they're going to be fine throwing Amanda and CT in.
I don't think he's doing USA 3.
No, I don't think so either.
Danny and Sarah would do it. Yeah,
I think they would do it. They just won't be on the season.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, it's too long. Danny basically said in a live that it's too long of a commitment.
I'm pretty sure from like everything I've been hearing, I'm pretty sure the cast of season 40 is only people that are MTV based anyways. So like they're not having any like obviously CBS people that have like gone on the MTV show, like Michelle will be there, but they're not getting anyone that's never been on MTV, which I actually kind of like. Like obviously I'd like to see Danny and Sarah and Chris, Desi, like people like that, but I am happy that they're going MTV heavy.
Is USA a thing? USA 3?
I've not heard anything.
I've not heard it yet. I think they're probably going to want to see how well All Stars 4 does, maybe, because they usually film that in the summer and then air it late summer, right?
Yeah, the last two USAs were like summer to like early fall.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how well it does in the numbers, but I feel like it would be something that would come back. But I have no idea. I don't know. I don't understand what they're doing with the MTV, CBS, the challenge. Like I don't see their path. Like I don't get it. So it's hard for me to speculate on whether or not it's going to come back because I feel like they had a good thing with All Stars, but then they kind of tainted it and started bringing people that I wouldn't be considered to be all stars in it. And then I think that they had a good thing with the regular MTV The Challenge, but then they started filtering it in with like people that I don't really appreciate, mostly like the Big Brother crew. And then like they have a good thing with the USA, but then now they're bringing in the MTV people to contaminate. So like I just don't get what they're doing.
My guess is that All Stars 4 will be the last All Stars. I don't think they're going to do more All Stars, at least not anytime soon. It's like they've waited so long. Like I think like the All Stars hype is like, I know people are hyped for season 4, but I think like the hype for more All Stars is dying a bit. I think we'll probably get more CBS versions, and then eventually it just merges into one, where it's like potentially like a shorter filming schedule, which might be good for some people. I actually thought USA 2 was like pretty solid. I thought it was a decent season, better than most of the MTV seasons over the last like 3-4 years. But yeah, I think USA, like it's just too easy.
They have the new generator, like the new, what's the word I want? Like the new funnel.
They have the talent. They have like, it's just like Survivor runs 2 seasons a year. Big Brother runs a season a year. That's like right there. Just of like each year, there's 50 people that you could put onto the challenge, and then you bring back people from old Survivor seasons. So like the options are limitless.
There's so many people that they can use for the show that would be very popular or people would enjoy seeing coming back in a different format. So they don't have the MTV shows anymore to churn out MTV challengers. So yeah, I can see it moving into the USA more so than MTV sticking around.
Mm-hmm.
Talent pool, yes. Pipeline, yes. So confusing. It's just like stick to something. It's all muddled, you know. But I do think that they're going to land on CBS or USA using majority of CBS players, former players, and I don't even know if they're going to be trickling in MTV people at eventually.
Yeah. So for this episode, why don't we end it here? What are your favorite CT moments all time? And like just putting you on the spot, obviously we might miss a few, but if you had to name a couple.
I mean, we've already talked about it, but like honestly, the moment with DM, like it just was so, it's like the big bad guy got tamed by the woman, and it was just such a friggin' epic love story on like my favorite show that I was so invested in that I there's no other moment I don't think in the MTV history that really tops that one for me. Right now I'm clouded by that one. So if you think of another one, maybe it'll jar me.
Yeah, I mean that is like the only other moments to me that comes to mind, like of anyone MTV. Well, I mean, obviously, like Backpack, like different, obviously iconic moment, and it's definitely up there. Like that's one of the best CT moments for sure. And that was like his big return to the show. So he was off for a couple years after he got like suspended. And then you see CT come back in, and he's like a bat out of hell. That was like truly like bone chilling as well in a different way. But in terms of like all-time moments from like anyone on the challenge, the only thing that rivals the CT and DM moment is the moment where DM takes off her wig.
Yeah, I mean,
which it might be the same season. I think it is the same season.
Because that was, so she said the wig in the mud pit challenge, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the same season.
And then she won that challenge.
Yeah.
I believe. Mm-hmm. I mean, I consider that the same moment, but like, no, definitely I got chills in that moment. Like, it was so epic.
So I'm trying to think of like other like iconic CT moments. Like, yeah, definitely like he's had like a few like legendary fights, which are like more like negative moments. But yeah, the shoe at West was funny. The West fights and rivals was really iconic. Obviously, like the fight with Adam was like iconic in a very bad way.
Yes.
But it is like one of those moments like no one will ever forget because it was like truly like mind-blowingly crazy.
I agree with you, Kay. CT's overall growth has really been great to watch overall. His fall and rise to who he is now has been great. Yeah. It's just a real full story, which I really love.
Yeah.
He has some like good lines too. He's like, what do you say? Like, I'm gonna bite off his head and eat it, or whatever.
I'm gonna smash his head and eat it.
Head and eat it. I don't remember all the CT-isms, but like sometimes he has some good like badass lines.
Yeah, I think like CT's like first win was iconic with Wes. He had that icon like this is like an underrated one, but like one of his first elimination wins when he had to like eat the cookies against Shane. Do you remember that one?
Are they spinning or no? Am I making
they were like spinning and it was like first one to vomit. Like that's the eliminations we used to get. Could you imagine like Fessy versus Jordan in a cookie eating vomiting competition?
Yeah,
like that's what we need more of for season 40. Like move away from the puzzles and the physical, like just give us absurd like random eliminations like that.
Absolutely. Or like the fly swatter.
Yeah, I would love to see like these like big bad alpha bros that are just in the gym 24/7 have to do this like weird shit.
Yeah, 100%. KB says Banana may have more wins, but CT is the challenge. He kind of is, to be honest. I mean, it might be different though when we see Banana's story. Because Bananas, you know, he went home first on the duel. And he's really like he had his negative era for sure. And he's had quite a bit of a growth as well. So I want to see his story, but I like CT more. I mean, probably because I think CT is better looking and I'm so more attracted to CT than I am Bananas. But I think that Bananas, his story will be probably pretty good too.
Yeah. And like, I obviously like CT way more. Like everyone that's ever listened to me knows that. But like I'll give Bananas credit. Like Bananas like is like a big part of the challenge, obviously too. Like he's done 20 seasons. Like he's won 7 times. He's obviously like part of the challenge, like what makes the challenge. But like yeah, to me, like CT is like the epitome of like a great character. Whereas Bananas
has had a lot of growth. Come on, his CT is Kenny and what's his name? Evan era, like the island, like he was so rotten.
Like Bananas is like not as much of a dick anymore, but he's still like very immature and very cocky. So there is, I think CT's grown more than Bananas, but Bananas like is no longer this like misogynistic, like complete asshole that he was.
He's not a complete asshole. He's just an asshole now.
Yeah.
But we're not saying Bananas doing one. We're just talking about being the face of the challenge.
Oh, I thought Bananas was doing one.
Oh, did you say? I don't remember what you said.
In the preview, he was being interviewed, so I assume that means he's doing one of these.
Oh.
I'd be shocked if he wasn't, to be honest. I know Kara is next week, which should be fun.
That's actually something that I didn't know. Someone did mention it in the chat, but I did love that Kara went to school with his younger brother, and that like he saw her, you know, I think he said taking his card at the gym and stuff like that. And so I thought that was cute that they both end up getting on the season together. Like I knew that they kind of knew each other, but I didn't know it was like actually that close. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like that. See, like, Bananas has grown. He's a villain that we dislike at times. He's probably a really nice person behind the scenes. Probably can be a really nice person behind the scenes because we know that he also.
Yeah, just like the thing about Bananas to me is like, yeah, I'm sure he's nicer than he seems. Like I'm sure he's fine. He's just like the way that he talks, like on his podcast. It's like sometimes it's so cringy. Like he gets so like sour when he loses anything, and like. Dude, like you've won 7 times, like you're responsible for so many people losing, and like you get targeted once and you act like the whole world is against you. Like last season, he went to one elimination against Polly, and the whole rest of the season, and then to this day, all he does is like complain that like everyone has it out for him, and like his life is so hard on the show. It's like, dude, like you went in one elimination.
I know, but like, what else is he supposed to do?
I mean, he could like just talk about how good he is, even, and be like, I won 7 times, like blah blah blah. Like I'm a huge threat, and like I should be going into more eliminations, but he just pretends that like the world is out for him. And I know he's doing it to like lower his threat level for the future, but it's just like so annoying to hear like, him talking about Dan Giesling, like Dan is like the devil.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting rid of him? Oh,
yeah,
whatever.
he's just like going off on Dan nonstop. He's just like he's a big baby. He's like an adult baby. So
Danny here is saying that Mark Long was liking IG comments of people say that they should let Kenny and Evan back, and that they people have been forgiven and let back for worse. I personally think that this was a legal issue, and I'm sure that part of their settlement with whatever happened in the case between them and Tanya was probably saying that they will never be on the show again. So I think it's a legal thing.
Yeah.
Not a forgive and forget. Let's move on. Like, I think that legally they're not allowed to go back on the show.
Well, one of the names that was a little surprising to me that looks like will be coming back for season 40 is Emily Schramm, which I was like quite surprised because I mean, everyone knows like she did like the blackface on I can't remember what season it was. I think it was her last season, maybe not, but like I thought like now, like just because of like social media and like stuff like that being like reposted, like there's no way they're going to bring her back. It's just not worth it. But it does look like she is going to be making a return after like 10 years.
Yeah, it's wild. I don't know. I don't know why they would. Whoa, you heard a rumor that Kenny was contacted for All Stars 4? I don't know.
I don't believe it.
I don't know about that. She's boring. She's at least strong. Like, I think the issue is that we need some strong female competitors. Like, you know, Raven is showing to be a strong competitor, and so she's somebody that I can see them bringing back for the fact that she's willing to go against the grain and she's decently competitive physically. And same with Zara, physically competitive and willing to go against the grain. Well, when her back is up against the wall, she should have done that from the beginning.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
I think what we need to do before the season 40 cast gets dropped, we need to do like a like draft / like wish list of who we want on 40, and like how we would make like we'll draft like to make a realistic but epic season. To me, like I get what you're saying about Emily. Like we need like strong females, but the problem is like we need strong females that will be oppositions to the majority, and I don't think Emily is that. I think Emily is just gonna ride with like Bananas and like all the strong people.
The people that
like
she knows.
Yeah, she's gonna ride with them, and it's just like it's not gonna be like the strength that we need. Like I would love Raven to be there because Raven is probably gonna be on the outside. But like we just need more people like that, and I'm nervous. Like apparently like Susie's been like begging to get back on, and they're just not inviting her on. And I think Susie is someone that's strong that would be in opposition.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with Susie as to why they are not saying yes to her coming back on the season.
Yeah,
it's so weird. Many people that like I wish that they'd say no to. I didn't necessarily love Susie back then, but I would love to see how she's competing nowadays, you know?
Like, I would love to like bring her and Sarah both back. Please. I think that's like an epic storyline right there, because like Sarah's first time on a season since Bananas took the money. It's like, is she going to go guns blazing at Bananas? Probably yes. And I think that's what we kind of need. And realistically, like Sarah will be someone that gets targeted, but like Sarah's a very capable player too. And if she has like people like Susie on her side, that would be very interesting. But it's just like it seems like they just want more like boring people that like might be very good physically, but they're providing as much. So I'm optimistic that will like pop up that are going to be super exciting.
Yeah, hopefully Sarah can get her revenge on Bananas. That would be delicious. And if Susie is there to help that happen, that would be amazing. Amazing, amazing. Didn't Veronica take photos of Tanya? I don't remember. I know they both get kicked off because Tanya slapped Veronica. I don't know if it's the same season or not.
I think there was I think that might have been a different season.
Might have been the season before.
Yeah, I don't know, but like I don't think Veronica was involved like legally because she's been on several seasons since.
Yeah.
So I'd be surprised if she was involved, and I would like to hope not. Again, like, I mean, there's like legal stuff, so like, I don't think anyone's really talked about it. But yeah, Evelyn, Sarah, Cam, Rachel.
I heard Evelyn is never coming back.
So. Evelyn, I don't think we'll see Evelyn. That's for sure.
Sarah, I think, is a possibility. Cam was going to be on All Stars 4, but she will have a newborn. Who's saying that here? So Danny's also saying that she'll have a newborn, so likely not being on 40. Also, who are the other names? Rachel, maybe she's on All Stars, so
I could see Rachel being there.
And then Tina, same thing, maybe, because she's just back in the conversation, so I could see it being a little more of a possibility depending on what angle they're taking on building it. Because I did hear it was an old school versus new school type vibe, right?
Yeah, that's what it seems like.
For sure. And it's in pairs of that, right?
I don't know about that. But it does seem like they're trying to split it like pretty evenly. So it would make sense if it was pairs.
Yeah, so Sam had a newborn All Stars 4, but like that's like what, 3 weeks, and this is like 6 months. So I think it's the length of time that should be away might have been the issue.
Yeah.
But maybe Leroy will be like, I think only one of them would be able to do it. I don't know. I could be wrong, but you know.
Also, I think Cam is like very, very pregnant. Like she could very well be giving birth like a couple weeks before. Like it looks like she's due like any day now. So yeah, I don't know if like she necessarily wants to or is like physically able to go film like within weeks of giving birth.
No, I said that Tanya slapped Veronica, and I think that they both were kicked off for that moment. No, or was it just Tanya?
Tanya definitely slapped Veronica.
Yeah.
But I don't remember if both were kicked off.
Definitely Tanya went home because I remember she was apologizing. I mean, like, oh, I know I deserve this. I should go home. I need to go home.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is pretty much it for this little, I thought it was going to be quick, but you know, we know how to talk about the challenge for sure. Our first recap of Home Turf here with CT. It was definitely an enjoyable watch. Any final thoughts to say, Matthew?
No, I mean, I think we got 3 episodes left of the Challenge 39, and then hopefully a quick turnaround after the reunion to All Stars. So yeah, we'll be seeing like some old school faces soon. And I guess we'll be back with Cara Maria on next Monday.
All right, back with Cara Maria next Monday. All right, take care, everybody. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, ring that bell so you know when we go live, especially on something new like this. If you're notified, you'd know about it. Also, I kind of started a new little series on the channel. It's called Airplane Mode, Flight Attendant Confessions, where on Sundays at 1 p.m. Eastern, me and a flight attendant friend of mine have been talking about our experiences in the industry. So if you want to join us for the conversation, or if you have any questions, send questions my way, all of the above. It's been really fun, and like there's just so much to say. I can't wait to talk about it some more. So make sure you subscribe so you can, you know, get in on that combo as well. Otherwise, we'll see you on Wednesday for the challenge. What's the 39? Challenge 39.
Yeah.
Battle for a new champion. Bye.